All right, Tate, let's get into it. Your Tar Heels, number one in the country. I guess we'll start there. Obviously, you're wearing your what jersey are you wearing today? Is that Nectar Jai?
No, this is the future Bob Cousy winner, R.J.
Oh,
Davis,
okay.
best point guard in the
Was
country.
Nectar Jai number 4?
I think
I
so.
gotta look that up.
But Maktar Jai, as you know, is one of those Carolina players that is hated and loved, depending on who you talk to. He famously told Michael Jordan that Akeem Olajuwon was actually the GOAT while wearing a Carolina uniform. And Michael Jordan, famously years later in the NBA, Maktar was trying to get into a club. This is how the story goes. And Michael Jordan was like, "Oh, yeah, that's right. You said Olajuwon. You're not getting in." So Maktar is one of those Carolina
He
players
was
that's
number 4, by the way. I just
yeah,
looked it up.
there you go.
Dude, how about that poll
Michigan
that
transfer, you know what I mean, comes in. But yeah, we're not going to talk about Maktar Jai because that brings up times of North
Yeah.
Carolina not winning the national championship.
But North Carolina has won the national championship. You are the preseason national champions.
According to Duke fans,
do you put a
yes.
banner up for that? Seriously, like in all seriousness, does Carolina? Because I know you guys have a lot of things hanging in the Dean
Mhm.
Dome. I'm not making a joke. I was curious because like Jim doesn't know. You know, there's a lot of people listening to the show. They don't know
Yeah.
the customs of North Carolina. Do you guys in fact hang banners when you are preseason number 1?
I'm sure there is a banner in there for AP preseason number 1. I'm sure there is. We'll look in around the
Or
Dean
you only hang? You're gonna tell me you only hang title banners,
Yeah.
like Mr. K did,
And then there's all
there's
the
a shot
banners.
of all the-
And I think he's hung 4 banners since he made that comment. None of those national championship banners. But yeah, I digress. North Carolina basketball, first time since 2015, 2016, they're preseason number 1. That year, we all know what happened. Chris Jenkins, the shot, they get to the
Mhm.
title game. And that was also in Houston. So a little serendipity there. And then North Carolina 10 times preseason number 1. That is a record. So maybe they put a banner up for that. The most
Is that
preseason
true?
number
You
ones.
get
Yeah.
the most?
We were tied with Duke at 9, and now we have 10. So
Oh
it's
my
official
god.
that Duke is yet again been killed by North Carolina
I
basketball.
love the idea of you and Duke having a band. Like, you swap it back and forth. As
Yes.
you
It's
you
like
have
the
to pass.
victory bell.
Yeah,
We just go back and
when you
forth.
know when Duke
They get to paint it Duke blue. We paint it
yeah
Carolina blue, but it has all the years
next
on
year
it.
Duke's number 1 to start the season. They take the banner back and they hang it.
It honestly could happen. It could happen. But this North Carolina team, I'm very excited about.
Does this matter to you? I instead of instead of letting you answer, I want to answer first. I feel because my read on it was before the poll came out that I feel like Carolina being number 1 doesn't matter as much as Carolina not being number 1 would have mattered to you. You would have lost your
Yes.
mind if Carolina wasn't 1. But being 1, does that matter? Does that register? Does
It
this feel like something to you?
it feels like remember Hubert Davis last year in February after they beat Duke or in March when they beat Duke the first time, and he was like,
Mhm.
North Carolina should never be an afterthought. It did come to a point where it was like, oh, we're talking about college basketball, we're talking about the Champions Classic, we're talking about Duke. Oh yeah, and North Carolina, what are they up to? You know what I mean? So it does feel like North Carolina is back centered in the college basketball conversation, which they needed to be. I'm excited for them to be, but now the real games begin.
I support North Carolina as number 1, by the way. I want to say that. I don't
I think it's good for
necessarily
college basketball.
gun to my head, I don't necessarily think you're probably the best team. Dude, I'm not even just saying this because I'm backtracking my Houston hatred the last couple years. Like, I really think Houston is on paper the best team, and
Yeah.
Houston makes it move for me the most when I'm
Mhm.
looking at
Houston and
what
Houston.
the yeah, and their schedule. They're just gonna steamroll everybody. That actually worries me. They're gonna be like the new Gonzaga now, right? Like they're gonna
I
be
think Houston should be number 2
they're gonna be too
in my
yeah.
mind.
But this is great for college basketball as North Carolina because it's not just a blue blood. It's not just a program that everybody knows. It's not something that like that part is all true, but it's also all the guys that are back. It's the familiar faces. And it's stupid and it's annoying. And if you're a fan of like Gonzaga or Houston and you really wanted to be preseason number 1 because that would have mattered more to your program than it does to North Carolina, maybe I get that point of view. But as a whole, for college basketball, there's a reason that blue bloods are always given
Yeah.
the benefit of the doubt, which we'll get into more with these other blue bloods because
Mm.
the
A lot
haters
of
guide.
benefits and a lot of
Oh
doubts.
my god, the haters guide is whew, the blue blood treatment that happened with.
Mhm.
But at the top, I think you got to pick like I think the way the AP preseason should work is that you figure out the best blue blood, you make them number 1, and then the rest of it is like fair game, and we actually figure out who the best, then you
Yeah.
actually rank it. Which I don't know. I don't think that's the case necessarily. I don't know. Carolina could be the best team, but I don't know. I think I like Houston more, but I love the idea of North. Like if we would have woke up today and Houston was the number 1 team, that would be bad for college basketball. That would not have been,
It
you
would be
know?
a lot of conversations about 1983. We're talking about Elijah Maybe you brought up Maktar Jai for a good reason because we're talking about Elijah
Yeah.
instead of Jordan. That's really what it would have been. And this is Houston's highest ranking since 1983, since they were in the Phi Slamma Jamma days. So they still get the same response that they would if they were number 1. You know what I mean? Because they're number 3. It's still shocking to see Houston number 3 for a lot of the common fan. They're like, Houston, oh, wow, they're good again. You know? And that does enough in number 3. Hey there, thanks for watching Titus and Tate. For the full friend of the program experience, subscribe right below and come join us for all things college basketball. The action is heating up. Come join Titus and Tate.